Hi everyone, Harrison Kratz here again for Engage TV. I'm still at BlogWorld, as you're all well aware of. I'm right here with Shonali Burke. So Shonali, thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure, thank you.
Shonali just got done sitting in on a panel about social media measurement. But we're not going to talk about that today because we're going to talk about something a little bit more important, and that's the Blue Key campaign that you're... are you the founder of it, or you're heavily involved in it?
No, my client is USA for UNHCR, which is a 501c3 based here in the US. And what they do is raise funds and awareness to support the work of UNHCR, which is the agency that helps to work with refugees around the world based in Geneva. So the campaign that USA for UNHCR has come up with is called Blue Key, and it's a symbolic blue key that I'm actually going to put off of my little dress. I don't know if you can see that. It's a very cute little blue key, and it comes as a pin like this or a pendant, and it's just $5, and you can go to thebluekey.org to get the pendant. And the idea is that there are more than 43 million refugees in the world, and we are, by comparison, very lucky. We have a roof over our head, we have food to eat. Yes, there are natural disasters and all sorts of horrible things happen, but by and large, we're fortunate, much more fortunate than some of these people who are displaced and live in camps for years and years and years. And the idea is that just by getting your own symbolic blue key, the key to a home that most of us have and refugees don't have, you would show support for refugees worldwide. So I'd love it if people went out to thebluekey.org and got their little $5 pin or pendant, less than a price of coffee, than a cup of coffee. And we're trying to get 6,000 blue keys out to Americans by June 20th, which is World Refugee Day.
Okay, so June 20th is a close, that's a tight window. Now, how have you gone about, getting these, either Blue Key champions and advocates on board? Because I remember we were talking in PR Stud Chat recently, and we have there every week. We always have a kind of advocate for a campaign that you think is worthy. Usually, we all advocate for my tweet drive, and then this week we switched it up to Blue Key, and that kind of piqued my interest. And it seemed like that there are a lot of people who are advocating for it. So how has the whole campaign been able to get those advocates in such a short window?
My role in this campaign and working with USA for UNHCR is try to bring in a digital and social aspect. We already have social properties out there. Their Twitter handle is UN Refugee Agency, and they have a great Facebook page and so on. But to spread the word, you've got to get people talking about it. And if you're going to spread the word digitally, then you've got to get people who are active online and who are also cause passionate, is the term that I use. So these are not necessarily people who are knee-deep in non-profit work all the time, but they care about people, they care about non-profits, they're willing to lend their voice
help
to
when they absolutely can.
Exactly. When you say, will you help me, they say yes. And fortunately, I have relationships with a lot of people like this in our world who are willing to lend their voice, and have a fairly large megaphone. And so this was our approach, was to bring these people on as Blue Key champions, ask them if they'd be willing to blog about the campaign, to tweet about it, to talk about it, and try and get people, not just talking and sharing about the Blue Key, but then actually to go out and get one. And so far, it's just, they've really been amazing, and they're really trying to get the word out, and are doing a great job of sharing the information.
I guess it helps when you were named top 40 under 40 also recently. I had to throw that in there. But so as far as putting together this campaign, what have been some of the challenges in a new social media campaign? Because there are so many things that we've, Japan was just a couple months ago. Now we have the Joplin tornadoes. What are the challenges in trying to wade through all of that and still, sticking out from the other campaigns that are just as worthy?
Absolutely, that's the thing. There is so many worthy campaigns out there waiting for you, and I think that's where having relationships helps with people, really being engaged in the community or in certain online platforms, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Because when you're regularly talking to people and interacting with them, then if later on I say, hey, by the way, I'm doing this, do you mind talking about it? Someone is much more likely to say yes. Of course I will, or of course I don't mind. So I think that engagement, and it's become a bit of a cliche now when you say you've got to engage and you've got to join the conversation and so on. And sometimes, oh my God, join the conversation again. But it's true. You do have to do it. You've got to go out and talk. And I think what sometimes, especially organizations that are newer to social, forget is that you can't just talk about yourself all the time.
Yeah.
You've got to talk to people. You've got to find out what's interesting to them and just talk to them like you would, build a relationship offline, you do the same thing online. And that really helps, especially when starting out with a social book campaign, because there is so much noise. I think one of the challenges is that it takes time. And a lot of organizations don't realize that. They want everything to just start
right away.
immediately. And so there's a process of education and understanding that it is not going to happen overnight. But if you start building your community and slowly bringing in your advocates, then they start building your community. And I think that's when it really starts to take off, is when they start building the community for you.
So, talking about building community, what do you think is the most important factor when it comes to building community, whether it be for social good, for your blog, or anything? What do you think is the most important factor?
Talking to people. Talking and listening. It's something we do. The minute we're born, we start to do it. We're listening. We're trained to listen. We're taught how to talk. Because that's how you get to know people. That's how you get to know how they react. That's how you get to know what makes them tick. That's how they get to know what makes you tick as well. And that is the cornerstone to starting to build relationships. The other component to that is listening. And so there are a lot of listening tools out there. You can put them in place, but if you're not actually monitoring them, you're not actually paying attention to what's going on. What are the topics people are talking about? What are the hashtags they're using? What are the trends that are happening? And then go back and start joining the conversation. So it's a little bit of a symbiotic relationship where you've got to do the listening and the talking, but a very genuine kind of talking sometimes.
All right, now we've been talking about the Blue Key, but Shonali, where can we find you on the web?
On the web, you can find me on Twitter as @Shonali, and that's SHONALI, and my blog is waxingunlyrical.com.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. And in Gishi, we're going to post a link to Blue Key so you guys can go there, donate, get your own key, and maybe we'll also throw some stuff up on the on tweetdrive.org because we got to help each other out. So thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks so much, Harrison.
And hopefully we'll catch up and we'll talk more about what you're doing outside of Blue Key too. All right?
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you guys. Take care. Perfect.
That worked?
Awesome. Yeah.